Right, so hello, welcome back, and what is the point of the Community Shield? I mean, really, what is the point in it?
I'm here to tell you right now.
Because Arsenal just beat Man City in the Community Shield, but the only people that are actually really excited about that are the Arsenal fans. So, the Community Shield, what actually is it? Well, it's where the Premier League champions face the FA Cup winners, but Man City can't face Man City, even though they do have two squads that could definitely play against each other, and you wouldn't know which one would be off a better chance of winning. So when that happens, then the Premier League winners just play second place in the league, Arsenal. Now, the first Community Shield actually was the Charity Shield, and it happened in 1908 when Manchester United faced QPR. Now, they drew 1-0, and they had a replay, the only ever replay in the competition's history, where Man United then ended up winning 4-0. Also, if you're new here and you want to give a subscribe and share the channel around, that would be very much appreciated as well. We're trying to hit 200 subs as soon as possible. Right, back into it. But that was the first Charity Shield, the actual first competition. It was a little bit different. It was first called the Sheriff of London Charity Shield, and that was back in 1898, where professionals would take on amateurs, a concept I would very much enjoy seeing in today's standard of football. And the competition, it changed over the years, all the way up until 1930, where you basically have the same sort of format, roughly so anyway, that we have today. Now, the competition, it was played at numerous stages throughout the season up until 1959, where they actually moved it to the beginning of the season, hence what they do nowadays. Then in 1974, then FA Secretary Ted Crocker, he created the format that we know today in the terms of that it's the league champions versus the cup champions at Wembley. It was called the Charity Shield because any amounts of profit that the game generated, it would all go back into different charities around the area. However, the name got changed in 2002. The Charity Commission seen that the FA failed to meet legal obligations under the charity law. They basically failed to specify how much money they were actually generating from ticket sales, and they were even found to be giving late payments to these charities as well. Doesn't really sound like the FA, so they changed it to the Community Shield, which is a lot better, isn't it? That just sums up the FA and football organisations as a whole. So greedy, how can you not give back to charity? The game's for charities. Unbelievable. And a little bit on the competition's history, Man United have won the most at 17, then Arsenal at 16, Liverpool at 11, and then surprisingly Everton at 8. So good on them for finally winning stuff. So with all the history and all the games that have been involved in this, and the fact that it's ran for so long, why does no one care about the Community Shield or the Charity Shield? Because you even look at Man City, the winning juggernauts within the past decade or so in football, and they've lost the last 3 Community Shields. They obviously just lost to Arsenal last weekend, then they lost to Liverpool last year, and they even lost to Everton the year before that. That's a three-peat, but not the one you want. I'm seeing tons of Arsenal fans as well online. Probably one of the most deluded fan bases in all of world football.
Well, let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
And they keep going on about how that's the mental block gone. We've finally beaten Man City. That's it. We can win the league now. Relax, because despite actually winning, congratulations as well, but despite actually winning, they're nowhere near as good as Man City, and I don't even know if they can really compete with them. In the grand scheme of things, this game, it's a glorified friendly. That's all it really is, because the game was set up all those years ago, all to give back to charity, and now it's not even really doing that. It's just the Community Shield, and some of the money goes back into the community, and you're like, that's great, I guess. I mean, it is great for the community, but in terms of the actual game, competitiveness and passion from fans, it doesn't matter. And okay, Arsenal fans, maybe you want to say to me, oh, well, it sets us up for a wonderful season, getting a win over Manchester City, the treble winners, champions of Europe, the best team in the world, and we just beat them. Good for you. Winning this competition against world beaters does not set you up for success. Because do you remember the last time Arsenal won it? It wasn't that long ago. It was the 2021 season. And you won the FA Cup. Wonderful on that as well. The FA Cup kings, really, Arsenal. And then you beat Liverpool, the Liverpool team who won the league by so many points. They finally won it after 30 odd years. And it's brilliant. We beat them. That'll set us up for success in the season. No, you finished 8th. And it's not just you, Arsenal fans. I'm not just picking on you.
Fine.
Liverpool last season arguably had a disaster of a season after Darwin Núñez scored and he looked like he was going to beat Haaland to the golden boot. I mean, calm down on that. Then you have the season before that where Leicester beat Manchester City, and then their season was just kind of meh. They didn't really do anything of note. Speaking of Haaland, last year he didn't have a great game. And then this year, he got slinged off in the 64th minute. But last year, when he didn't have a great game, everyone was saying, oh, look, here comes a future flop. This guy's got all the hype in the world. He got over 50 goals, and we know exactly what he did. And realistically, he should win the Ballon d'Or. But he had one bad Community Shield game. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's a friendly. This game is just more money for the FA. That's all it really is. And that's all they really care about at the end of the day as well, the FA. It's the same with all football organisations, the SFA, the Spanish FA. Every single one of them, they just care about more games, more money in their pockets, and more out of your pockets. That's why they've got all these rule changes as well. I mean, Rafa Varane's come out on Twitter and he said that the amount of games that they do play and the amount of game time, which they've now introduced a new rule for time wasting, it's ridiculous. And the whole point of time wasting is just so that lesser teams with smaller squads can try and compete with the bigger teams. So the fact that they've introduced that and they still have these types of games held at Wembley of all places. Man City fans, I don't blame them for not going to Wembley either. Look, when you're a team like Newcastle, for example, who hadn't been at the new Wembley at all, and they hadn't been to Wembley in years, probably since the FA Cup final against Manchester United, it's a good day out for them, and it's brilliant. But the problem as well is when you've got Man City, who are in every competition, and you hold semi-finals at Wembley and finals at Wembley, and Man City play there about 4 or 5 times a year, roughly so, and it's unfair on their fans to come all the way down from Manchester, whether that be plane, driving, train. It's expensive to get down to London, and the Man City fans got slated for the semi-final against Sheffield United for not having a lot of fans, and even Sheffield United fans got slated as well. But they're two northern teams. Why couldn't the game just be held at somewhere like Villa Park, a place that's close to them, that's a neutral venue? Even Old Trafford would have been better. So the fact that they just have the Community Shield and it's at Wembley, it's a disgrace. You can't just keep holding games there all the time, especially when the teams from the north and even the Midlands as well, it's unfair monetary-wise on them. So overall, do Man City care that they just lost this tournament? No. I mean, they could give two hoots about it. And to Arsenal, well done. It sets you up for a good season. Does it really though? No, not really. It's nice to tick off the Community Shield, but if you didn't win it, I don't think you would have been too bothered either. I'm sure you would have just said, it's Man City. They're the best team in the world. And that's not the test for you. The test for you is that you had such a good season last year, second in the league. Okay, your cup competitions, you weren't really too bothered about them anyway, but you had a really good season last year, and it's important to build upon that success. And yes, winning this, great, brilliant, but Now you've got to have a cup run, plus getting in the top 4, maybe challenging for the title as well. You've obviously spent big this summer with the likes of Timber, Havertz and Rice coming in amongst others as well. And that's the real test for you. How will you fare in Champions League football? How will you fare in the 2 cup competitions? One will matter, one won't. Whether that's League or FA is up to Arsenal and the board really. And how can you compete and continue to compete and grow in the league and really hunt down this Man City beastly team? So that was my thoughts on the Community Shield, or the Charity Shield as it used to be known until the FA really messed that one up. Let me know if you think it should be scrapped, if you think I'm right on that, or if you think it should just be held at a different venue, a different one every year maybe. That would be quite a good idea. Just get everyone involved in that. And speaking of getting everyone involved, give a subscribe. That would be brilliant. We're trying to get 200 subs as soon as possible, and as well as that, if you can share it around and give a like on it. It's all free, it costs you nothing. Thanks so much for watching the video. Cheers.